The 26 Karmic Tales of the Matrix of Destiny. The Matrix of Destiny originates from the karma of previous incarnations and reveals the unresolved tasks from past lives, as well as the karmic lessons we will encounter in this lifetime. There are 26 codes. By examining these codes, you can identify the karmic lesson you've carried into your current life and explore examples to transform it into a positive one or find a way out. If you want to see where your karmic tail is, it is in the marked section. 1866 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have loved someone but not received the same affection in return. Karsalixis asktan dolei buyu vea sihire baverma solabalirsanis. Because you didn't find a response to your love, you may have turned to energies related to magic with the help of others. You may have lived your relationship in secrecy. You could have fallen in love with someone who is already married. Due to the heartache you experienced, you might have felt compelled to marry someone you did not love. You may have been in a relationship that society or your family disapproved of, forcing you to keep it hidden. You might have entered into a marriage that was merely a formality. 1866 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You may try to engage in trust-based relationships. Work on learning to establish honest connections. You might long for love, affection, and physical contact. Consider surrendering to love. Try to take steps towards stable relationships. You could experience difficulties in showing love to others. Aim to overcome these challenges. You may prefer to be sincere with your partner. Remind yourself that you are deserving of love. You might fear magic. Avoiding energies related to it could be beneficial. Your relationship with your parents may be strained, but you can make an effort to improve it. Strive to overcome difficulties in relationships. Be mindful not to get caught in a love triangle. Work on avoiding feelings of jealousy. You may have a separate life away from your family. Try not to focus on its negative aspects. 1899 Karmic Tail. 9189 Karmic Tail. 9918 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may possess spiritual knowledge. You might be afraid of your spiritual insights. You could have fallen victim to the manipulations of others. You may have been unable to share your spiritual knowledge with others. Due to societal pressure, you might have hidden your mediumistic abilities. You may have succumbed to negative energies related to magic and suffered as a result. You might prefer to be alone. You may have distanced yourself from emotions like starting a family or having children. You could have fallen into illusions. You may have misused your healing abilities in a negative way. While being aware of your healing gifts, you may not have showcased them. You might have become overly attached to beliefs, drifting away from reality. 1899 Karmic Tail. 9189 Karmic Tail. 9918 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You may want to engage with spiritual topics. You might find different realms intriguing and turn to research. You could try to understand your mystical abilities, such as prophecy, while focusing on spiritual matters. Strive to avoid becoming excessively immersed in fantasy. You may experience difficulties communicating with others and work to overcome them. If you have a phobia of dark or closed spaces, you might attempt to overcome it. You can explore your interest in spiritual fields like astrology, numerology, or tarot reading. You may work to overcome sudden feelings of anxiety. You could strive to be a good teacher. You might try to engage in studies within the field of psychology. You can discover and share your innate talents with others. 21410 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have been influenced by others. You might have struggled to act independently. You may have made too many sacrifices. You might not have utilized your leadership skills. You may have voluntarily given up your freedom. While supporting those in need, you might have ignored your own needs. You could have been afraid to take action. You may have felt enslaved. You might have experienced humiliation. You may have lost faith in yourself. You could have thought you didn't deserve happiness. 21-410 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You can try to develop your leadership skills. You might work on believing in yourself. Aim to realize that you deserve happiness. You can make an effort to overcome your fears. Strive not to devalue yourself. Take on responsibilities to make your own decisions. Work on expressing your ideas. Try to recognize opportunities. Stop hiding behind your fears. Remember to think of yourself as much as you think of others. Learn not to feel ashamed of who you are. 9-3-21 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have restricted the freedoms of others. You could have enslaved people. You might have mocked or entertained yourself at others' expense. You may have put someone in debt or a difficult situation. Your partners may have limited you, or you may have restricted them. You might have manipulated the lives of others. When your desires weren't fulfilled, you may have exhibited a threatening attitude. You may have been insensitive to the needs of others. You might not have offered help to others. 9-3-21 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You can try to respect the freedom of others. You might work on not interfering in others' lives. Try to learn how to avoid creating new karmic debts. You could consider offering unconditional help to those in need. Make an effort to avoid becoming dependent by helping people who don't ask for your assistance. Strive to refrain from manipulating others. Work on not being a despot. Try to recognize that money is not everything. You might focus on the concept of equality within yourself. When facing physical health issues, prioritize early diagnosis and treatment. 15-8-11 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have inflicted physical pain on others and resorted to violence. You could have been involved in crimes. You may have pushed moral boundaries. You might have used your powers for destruction rather than for good. You may have lost your ability to empathize with others. 15-8-11 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. Instead of just feeling sad when you are bullied, try to realize how you can combat it. Prioritize seeking treatment for physical health issues for early diagnosis. Learn to resolve conflicts in your family or friend circle peacefully. Practice being patient and compassionate. Use your inner strength to support others. Work on overcoming feelings of anger, greed, or the desire to control. Strive to find emotional balance. Accept karma and recognize the importance of correcting past mistakes in this life. Create opportunities to forgive yourself and free yourself from burdens for a more conscious life. Avoid harming the vulnerable. Understand that turning to harmful addictions is not the solution during your sad times. 18-3-12 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have experienced physical injuries. There could be deficiencies in certain organs physically. Physical disabilities may have occurred. Instead of seeking solutions for physical pain, you might have continuously rebelled against it. You may have gone through severe depression. By dedicating your life to others, you might have overlooked your own health. You may have focused on the material world while neglecting your spiritual well-being. 18-3-12 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You may try to pay attention to your health. You can make an effort to eat healthily. You might work on developing not just your physical body but also your spiritual self. Try to love your body and accept it as it is. You may work to free yourself from the fear of experiencing physical pain. Instead of being afraid to help those in physical pain, you could try to offer support. You might consider volunteering in nursing homes. If you fear blood or sharp objects, you can try not to react excessively. If your children experience physical or emotional challenges, make an effort to always show them you are there for them. 6517 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have exhibited arrogant behaviors. You might have seen yourself as superior to others. You may have criticized others. You could have belittled others by perceiving yourself as smarter than everyone else. Your confidence might have led you to underestimate others. You might have thought that you deserved everything, while others did not. You may have believed that only you were worthy of the finest things. You may have left environments where you were not praised. You could have embraced a mindset that only you are the best. 6517 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. You can learn to listen to your inner voice rather than your ego. Try not to compare yourself to others. Make an effort to avoid belittling others. You can work on developing your empathy skills. Instead of chasing quick success, aim for the best success at a slower pace. Strive to behave consistently. Try to recognize the value in every person. Focus on open communication and mutual respect in romantic or platonic relationships, rather than manipulation. Avoid stealing others' hopes. Aim to be an inspiring figure for those around you. It may be beneficial to focus on achieving your dreams without harming others' happiness. 3722 Karmic Tail. In your past or current life, you may have faced restrictions regarding your freedom. You might have spent time in prison. You could have been held captive. You may have experienced an accident that resulted in hospitalization. Your life might have been managed by others. You could have been dependent on someone, preventing you from living your life as you wish. You may have struggled to cope with the challenges of survival. You might have dealt with conditions that impair movement, such as foot-related issues or paralysis. You may have faced situations like abortion, the loss of a child, or giving your child up to others. Financial burdens, such as credit debt, may have restricted your ability to live your life fully. You might have found yourself in a polyamorous relationship against your wishes. 3722 Karmic Tail. Suggestions for turning it into a positive. Exploring new places and getting to know different cultures can be beneficial for you. Try to avoid becoming overly dependent on something or someone. While traveling, consider finding ways to earn income or create passive income streams. Work on not imposing restrictions on yourself. Aim to build good relationships with your family. Be cautious regarding credit and debt matters. It may be helpful not to allow violations of your boundaries. You might feel the need to question your identity, such as, what do I have and who am I? If you're struggling to find answers, consider seeking support from a psychologist. Prioritize seeking treatment for any physical health issues for early diagnosis. Be mindful to avoid developing addictions such as alcohol, drugs, gambling, or shopping.